Everybody, welcome. X's and Noles presented by Noles247.com. Kevin Little, Adam Brown. I'm Trey Rowland. And guys, early signing day, National Signing Day in the books. Florida State closes it out with a top 15 class, actually top 14 class because they were ranked 14th. Florida State signs its highest number of high school enrollees in the Mike Norvell era with 32 players signing their national letter of intent. Guys, there's a lot to look at. I think what we're going to focus on first is our recruits that we're most excited about for the class, probably talk about the class as a whole, what we actually thought of the class in totality, better than we thought, worse than we thought, about what we always expect. We'll go from there. And then after we're done breaking down the film, like you know that we love to do and we know that you love to see of these individual players that we're excited about, we're going to be talking about the future. This class is going to be part of the future for Florida State. So let's talk about the future. We got some new coaches coming in, coaches coming out, the transfer portal's coming up. What do we want to see as the future of Florida State starts to take shape? Guys, how you doing?
Not good. Eagles are sucking.
I'm sorry, buddy. I hope they do better. Kev, you don't have any Eagles ties that would make you sad, do you?
Yeah, I decided that being a fan of a college football team was enough pain for one person. So yeah, I'm fairly agnostic to any teams in the NFL. I just watch good football. So yeah, I'm chilling. You know, I'm picking up Indiana as my second team, and we're gonna ride into the playoffs. I mean, go Hoosiers.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully the curse of Kev doesn't befall them because they're playing pretty well. But anyway, guys, it's the holiday season. Let's get a little merry. Let's talk about this recruiting class. Ranked number 14 in the team total recruiting rankings. Adam, what did you think of the class in totality before we get into some of the players that we're going to be keeping our eye on to make an impact on the field for Florida State in the future?
You sure I'm the right one to ask this question too?
Kev,
Sure.
what did you think? We'll let him think about his thoughts for a little bit. Kev, what do you think of the class in totality before I definitely know Adam's answer because we definitely didn't talk about this before the video started recording. Kev, what do you think of the class?
Yeah, I think the class is a little buoyed by the amount of recruits they brought in. You know, you look at the average rating, it's a little bit lower. I do think that there's wisdom in trying to fill up the total scholarship limit, the scholarship increase. I think having as many players as possible that have upside is the play here. You think back to Bear Bryant, one of the reasons he was so successful was because there was no scholarship limits. So he just brought in everybody possible. So other teams couldn't have players and he had more players to choose from. So I do think there's some wisdom in just filling up numbers and seeing who pans out. But I think that ideally you'd bring in a higher blue chip ratio in the process. And I think that, I mean, all things considered with how poorly you've played on the field, I'm not sure I was expecting, like, this is as good as I was expecting. This is probably better than what I was expecting, to be totally honest with you, with this staff not being a great recruiting staff in the past and without kind of proof to back them up. So I'm not here to disparage the kids. I think there's actually some players I'm really excited about their future that are in this class, but overall it does feel like a lot of it was just filling out numbers.
Well, I mean, to your point there, I mean, I don't think anybody can really disagree with you on that too much. It's 32 commits. They're ranked number 14, 12. What do you got? 12 4-stars, 23 stars. The teams that are above you, like for LSU, they have the class rank 13, but they only have 14 commits. Their average star rating is 93.8. Ours is 89. The team directly below you, Oklahoma, they have 24 commits. They're at an 89.6. Florida's at 16 with 18 commits, but a 91.4 average. It seemed like now it is a different, like there are some things that share some similarities to past Mike Norvell classes, right, Adam, and things that don't. The things that we've seen, they have a tough time recruiting like the money positions, as I would say, getting that elite, no doubt talent at positions like quarterback, offensive tackle, edge rusher. But in a change from years past, they actually seem to recognize that about them, and they seem to be throwing numbers at some of these problems, particularly at the defensive line, where a number of the guys, those individual players that we're going to be talking about today, it is it is interesting that no matter how bad or how good the results really are on the field, there is consistency at kind of the level that you're going to bring from the high school class from Mike Norvell, because this class is about as good as the other ones, and it's honestly better than some of the other classes that he's brought in before. So I think that's interesting. What do you think of the class in totality, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they did a better job this year of like at least throwing numbers at the problem, but it's still not. I mean, at some point, the old saying Jimmy's and Joe's. I mean, you need the most talented guys, and I like that they have at least recognized they need bodies, with the 105 scholarship count or number count now for your team, that you need bodies and a lot of them, and you need them across the defensive line. And it does seem like maybe they chased or pursued more like NFL style bodies for the defensive line.
Yeah, the measurables, things like
a
that.
bit more, a little better measurable type, as opposed to just taking a guy maybe because he was ranked a 4-star and you thought you needed some sort of fake momentum boost. We've seen that perhaps in the past. So it does seem like maybe they've done a better job of getting actual body types that make sense for the style of football that they want to play and the scheme that they are hoping to continue to run, I guess. And yeah, I mean, they threw a lot of bodies at it. They threw bodies at wide receiver. They needed to get deeper at wide receiver and more talented. That they did seem to do that okay with guys that they like with speed and some shiftiness in there too. And the guy like Jason Lopez. And yeah, I mean, but you just keep.
It's more of the same, right? It's kind of like Groundhog Day a little bit.
At the big ones that win you football games, and over and over and over again. And it's why we're not winning a lot of football games, because you're not winning a lot of battles for guys that do win you football games.
Well, which is frustrating, because still you do have the second highest rated class in the ACC, the conference in which you play. You're only behind Miami at number 10, but once again, even this level of like talent advantage, it's not enough for you to beat the Pitts and the Stanfords and the other thing. It's like you almost need a bigger talent advantage to kind of even beat up the kind of the softies of the conference that you're in. Yeah. It's just like I said, it's interesting that it's at this level with the season so disappointing, but it's more the same in that it'd be nice. You can see teams that when they have a difference maker at like quarterback, offensive tackle, edge, how much easier it is for them. And it's really hard to get those guys consistently in the transfer portal, at least the ones that make a difference. But let's talk about some of the guys in this class that we feel can make a difference, guys. And the first person I'm going to start off with is the highest rated recruit out of the entire class. That's cornerback Chauncey Kennan. He is a cornerback from Booker in Sarasota, Florida. This kid reminds me of like a Derwin James in that he's got the FSU tattoo. I think he even said in an interview on 24/7 that it didn't matter who the head coach was. He's coming. Like, I like this kid. I can't wait to watch Kennan's film. Old Chuck Kennan. Respect somebody that goes by Chuck with the name of Chauncey. Chuck's a good name. It's underutilized. I'm interested to look at this kid's film because he's very talented.
Yeah, he is. Go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, immediately, like his first play, you like to see it. He's in a zone drop. He has good zone eyes. He's looking back to the quarterback. He sees where this quarterback's going. The quarterback kind of lofts this over the middle of the field, and he breaks out of his zone, seeing the ball. So you can tell immediately that, as long as Tony White's your defensive coordinator, you're going to want to play a lot of zone defense. And so good zone eyes is something that's kind of an important trait.
A trait that not many had in the FSU backfield this year.
Yeah, you could argue that there was one guy that had good zone eyes, and he was just a step behind consistently this year.
So
yeah, it was a problem for him. It was a big problem for him, and they needed to get better. They need to get guys that understood zone systems more, and can come in and have a base concept of it, not be man type corners and those types of skill sets, because they recruited guys for that system, for that Adam Fuller man system. This is a kid that obviously loves playing off the ball and has great eyes and great instincts for when to go pursue the football.
Great ball skills too, guys. Very, very fluid catching the ball. Some really tough catches on this highlight. As of course, when you're talking about a kid who's like a 97 rated, he's going to play every single position for his high school team.
Yeah.
And you like to see that though, dude. He's dominating the game.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly got ball skills. He can field a punt, so that might be useful. FSU football team. Yeah, I mean, clearly you see enough 4-star film, and you see these guys playing both sides. You see them dominating. I think the longer that I do this, the longer that I am watching all these highlights, and you have to look for these little things, right? Of course, he's going to be the best athlete on the field. He clearly has ball skills. That's a good thing. I would love to see more corner film. It does feel really wide receiver heavy, but those are the flashy plays you put on a highlight tape. So, yeah, here's a good example. Can he lay the lumber? Can he make a tackle? You can see teams consistently are going to try to put your outside corners in run fits and challenge them to tackle. And if they can't do that, they're going to be in trouble. But I like his zone instincts just in the few clips that we get. So here he's able to come off his man pretty quickly and make a tackle a couple yards. So that's kind of what you're looking for. Someone who can break, who's always got their eyes on the quarterback, feels comfortable enough in their athleticism that they can be there. I'd like to see him.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him keep his feet there.
Yeah, he's going for ankles. I just think he's a good ball player. I mean, that's why he's your top rated kid too. He was a national recruit, and you kind of know what you're getting. Good height, weight, speed. They needed to get guys in here that could see zone schemes better. By that, I just mean with their eyes, like understand how to read a quarterback. You know, a lot of these man corners are just used to getting up in somebody's grill and trying to body them.
Mm-hmm.
That is not what Tony White wants to do.
Right. Good spatial awareness, good instincts, knows what's going on, knows how to read a quarterback, knows how to read read the route tree of the receiver. Yeah, well, he's playing. Yeah, he's same point. Like I said, the kid looks like a very natural athlete.
Fluid.
It's so funny to say this, but highly rated, like national level prospects at Florida State in the defensive back room have had a hard time seeing the field early. Do we think that this is going to happen with him as well?
I mean, I won't think anything different until Mike Norvell's not the coach, because at some point, I mean, it hasn't happened with a lot of highly rated guys they've brought in the past. Now, he might be the best of that group.
Do you think he's the best of that group? Like the Bateses, the Lesters, the Jamari Howards, like guys like that?
Well, Howard got hurt right away.
Right, he did. But at least from the high school film.
Yeah, I mean, Lester was always kind of, I always thought he needed to get tougher. And then Bates, I never bought the fluidity with Bates. But, I mean, Kenan looks like the best athlete of that group. Let me put it that way.
Okay, perfect. It's just good for comparison purposes. Speaking of another good athlete, we're going to stay on the defensive side of the football. This is a very intriguing recruit. This is linebacker Isaiah Williams from Tavares, Florida. He's 92 rated, 4-star on 24/7. The kid had an ACL injury, I believe, where it took him out of his entire senior year. I have not watched his film yet. I've heard it's very impressive. I believe if that injury did not occur, he would be rated even higher. This is a kid who committed like 6 or 7 times. And then the final one to Florida State like months ago was the one, which if you would ask me to bet money, I wouldn't have said that. But a fairly uneventful recruitment at the end. And guys, this is Kev. This was a guy that you wanted to talk about. How does he compare to a pretty unimpressive group of linebacker commits over Mike Norvell's tenure here at Florida State? This guy looks different, right?
Yeah, I'm going to answer that question with just this first play. I'm just going to let it play out.
Yeah.
Guys, it's a little laggy on my end.
It's not laggy on my end, but that's because I'm running it. You can see right here. This is what I really like. Just the first play. I was like, this is the first modern linebacker I feel like they've recruited. Since Jimbo was here. So
Oof.
Just watch these hips turn.
Oh yeah, that looks.
He
really
keeps his
nice.
shoulders square while his hips turn, and now he's running towards the sideline while keeping his eyes on the backfield. The kind of agility and
It's
just
just that
athleticism.
football. It's just that football awareness too, right? Like a very good eye discipline. Like something looks natural in space, right, Kev?
He looks natural in space. He looks like he can do his own drop and actually take up space. So much zone dropping with this staff. With I don't care who's your defensive coordinator, has just looked like these guys just. Man, they take up the 3 feet that they're standing in, and that's it. So someone that can turn their hips as a linebacker. I'm almost a fan in the modern day of finding a large safety and putting him at linebacker, because you really you just knocked the crap out of that guy. I mean,
he just teleports to the quarterback, right?
He looks like a big safety out there. I mean, he's quick. His hips are loose. He's agile. He's not afraid to hit you. I'd love to see him take on a block. I know you don't put those in highlight tapes. I'd love to see him just take on a block and just blow up a guard for someone else to make the tackle. But I love his hip mobility.
Oh, there you go, taking on an offensive lineman, Kev. Asking ye shall receive.
There you go. He makes the tackle anyways, but yeah, I like the hip mobility in space. That's really where I kind of draw the line on what I'm looking for in a modern linebacker. Can you take on a block? Can you move your hips?
Adam, what do you think? So size-wise, 6'1.5", 215 is what it says on his 24/7 Sports profile. Do you see the frame to add on some more weight? Do you have any? Obviously, he looks very athletic. He moves well in space. Any concerns about how this kid coming off an injury might play in between the tackles, or is that just kind of unfounded?
I mean, you want him. You're hoping that it's a full recovery from I believe it was ACL. I mean, that's
right.
The biggest thing. You just want it to be healthy, but no, I mean, I don't think that's probably going to be an impact on him long term. Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what Kev was saying. It looks like he can play in space. It looks like he can play in the box. It looks like a true modern linebacker that can kind of give you everything. You don't have to take him off the field on third down because you can't rely on him in coverage. Shoots gaps really well, which I like. We've not seen enough of that of late. I'm just trying to watch him here. He's doing a good job of not running over blocks. Haven't seen a lot of that. We've seen some sloppiness or trying to run underneath the blocks either. So he's willing to. He's physical, willing to take things on. Here, I mean, I wouldn't call that a great play. He's kind of out in the middle of no man's land.
Yeah, he kind of gets caught. You'd love to see him.
Yeah, it happens from time to time, though. I mean, he is still a high school kid. This is his junior film too, so
yeah,
that was that penetration you were talking about, Adam. He does shoot the gaps well.
Yeah, which I mean, we know that's been a problem. And you guys get downhill, he looks like he really runs really well. I would love to have a verified time for him. Let's just keep going here, see what we see. There, he's setting an edge.
Good effort too, man. Doesn't give up on a play.
You know what I haven't seen him do? Run into the backfield, jump up in the air, and look unathletic.
We'll teach him that. We'll teach him that at FSU.
Yeah, we'll teach him.
I mean, my biggest hopes are like, don't add a bunch of. You said he's 215. Like, get him to 225 and let him live there. Like, he doesn't need a lot more weight than that.
I think you've.
Look at that.
Like, you saw it with James Williams this year. Not all bulk is good bulk, man. Maintain the things that make you special.
Nicholson looks like they've bulked him up too much and made him unathletic. Like.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get what they're doing with those linebackers. It's like, yeah, I mean, Kalen DeLoach was sitting at 215. He's been your best linebacker in 10 years, and yet you want to get everybody else to 235 for some reason.
Like, he's got some pass rush juice too.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, that'd be a fun guy to use in Tony White's scheme off like blitzes, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if he's back from his ACL tear and he still moves like this is someone I think gets significant snaps as a true freshman.
Yeah,
with what your linebacker room looks like.
He looks like your most athletic linebacker already.
Yeah.
I mean, best looking.
I mean,
once
look
again,
at these hips on this rep. Like turns his hips completely sideways and keeps his shoulders square.
but acknowledging this is junior film, assuming he can come back from that injury, right? This looks like this is the best looking linebacker of Norvell era, pretty easily, right, guys?
Yeah.
To me, from the high school film, I mean, there's still a lot to be said about how he adjusts, who is he playing against, but the fluidity and athleticism is there.
Okay. Yeah, it looks good, man. Come back healthy, please.
Now, I mean, he's not a perfect prospect. You know, there's always some things you'd like to see. You know, you'd like to see him get a little bit lower. There he is, kind of skirting a block. He makes the tackle, but
yeah, I mean, we don't know about his instincts. It's hard to know about instincts on this kind of stuff.
yeah,
You're
we've
seeing
seen
plays. You're not seeing plays where he's overrun a gap or. He seems very in control, though. Like I'll say on these on these plays, he seems under control. He stays on the back hip. He's not overrunning the ball a lot, over pursuing the ball. Seems to leverage it really well.
Yep.
Yeah, he's not taking himself out of a lot of plays, which is a trait that FSU's linebackers have way too much of.
Yeah, I really like this take. I'm the one talking because this is the one I chose to kind of highlight because I'm just excited. I think that's one of the things that's been holding back this Florida State team. I think it's not a coincidence that, you know, probably in the past 10 years, the best linebacker room you've had was 2023. And that was the best defenses you've had. I mean, of course, you had 2 future NFL defensive linemen, maybe 3, I don't even know, playing on that front line. But the linebackers were cleaning things up and really helping you out in a way that we really haven't seen before or since.
No, and in fact, it's the room's been such a liability and an obvious weakness that any offensive coordinator worth his crap would have just attacked them over and over again. Oh, okay, what's up, buddy?
I was actually watching 6 on defense. I was like, he looks slow this play.
Oh, we got some offensive highlights. Okay, yeah, the old linebacker running back combo, dude. We'd love to see it. All right, would you guys want to move? Speaking of offense, let's talk about our only offensive prospect that we're going to talk about in this video. This is 2 sports star Jason J. Rock Lopez. He of the Zach Blostein haircut. He's from Chaminade Madonna High School. 5'10", 165, 91, 4-star rated recruit. It might even be a better basketball recruit than a football recruit. Has the opportunity to play 2 ways here at Florida State University. This is the type of prospect that this is the type of guy that murders Florida State on the regular over the past couple of years. Like this type of impossible. This is a guy that you get matched up on a team's linebacker to destroy. And I am very interested. This is a guy that I'm excited to talk about, man. His film has some juice, right, guys?
Yeah, I mean,
it'll leave you buzzing.
Now, what's his height weight?
He's 5'10", 165.
Yeah, I mean, I think FSU has been a little devoid in slot receivers that can kind of hurt teams. It's kind of meant that you haven't had that much of an RPO game to lean on, and you're kind of missing attacking the short intermediate part of the field because of that. But clearly moves very well, has great ball skills, made some acrobatic catches.
Yeah. And Kev, to your point, man, I was hopeful that Javon Boggs could maybe fulfill that role in this offense. Before he got hurt, he looked very promising as a true freshman. But this is another guy. I don't want to just paint him as like a total slot though, because a lot of these clips are on the outside, Adam. A lot of like good athleticism.
He's a slot, but here's my problem. Like,
well, good.
He looks like he's a really good player. He's a really good player. But if you run this gush stuff out there again, like you're just wasting him. Like completely wasting him. This is a kid you need to space the field out really far and wide and get him the ball quickly in space and let him do his thing. Or let him run seams and find space in the passing game and let him do his thing. Like this Gus nonsense. I mean, it doesn't make a ton of sense with the caliber wide receivers that we think you're bringing in this class, especially a kid like this, like you need to open the passing game up, let him be his most effective.
Yeah, what are you going to do with the Gus offense with him? Is he just going to be your
Run jet
jet
sweep
guy?
run them. Look what you just did with Squirrel White. I mean,
Yeah.
they're basically the same player.
Yeah, very similar skill sets.
Smaller, but a boatload of speed. Like,
And to be honest, to be fair, going back to some UCF film with Gus, I get the impression that part of that was a height limitation for your quarterback, not using the middle of the field with the slot guys.
I don't know.
It would be a disservice to this kid's talent to not.
I just think it would. I think it's something worth discussing anyway. Like, I hope you maximize his skill set because he is a dog.
Yeah, and I agree. In the right environment with the right quarterback and the right offense, this could be like Boggs was tracking before he got hurt, right? Like
he reminds me of Micah Pittman. He reminds me of like a more explosive Micah Pittman.
I'm not going to say who he reminds me of, but he reminds me of.
Go ahead. Now you have to. Now you can't. You can't do that. You
have
to, dude.
It reminds me of the team down south's leading wide receiver.
Oh yeah, Barrios. Yeah, I mean that's.
Oh no, he was thinking of Restrepo, right?
Oh,
or
that's
Barrios.
Yeah, Restrepo.
Yeah.
Either way, yes, this is that type of guy who just.
But those guys win football games. You know, like those guys move chains, right? Remember we had
used them right
when we had Pittman. Like first downs, you could throw it to, like Johnny would get the big play, but Pittman got the first down. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And they just haven't had that. I actually think losing Pittman is the big reason why the 22 offense was actually better than the 23 offense in a lot of statistical categories.
Well, you got to have that guy. You got to have that safety valve over the middle. You got to have that guy who can run the slant over the middle, the guy who can sit down in the zone, has a great feel for the football, can make the catch every time, and then can get some yards after for you. You got to have guys that are tough to bring down, man. It makes your life so much easier.
He's got incredibly quick feet. I mean, that's the biggest thing that jumps out at him. His feet are so explosive. Then he kind of understands. He tracks the ball really well. He's got good speed. Probably doesn't have elite speed, but he's got really good speed. And then he just, you can just tell he sees the field. He's a point guard in basketball. He's going to play basketball too. Like you can just tell he sees the picture really well around him.
He's gonna play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, he's legit. Yeah, he's a legit two-way prospect.
Dang,
that's one of the main reasons.
What's his height?
Landed him 5'10".
Okay.
No, he's super explosive on the basketball. Dude. Yeah, you got to watch his highlights for that, Kev. You'll like that.
Short kings, man. I don't care what you say.
5'10's not short. I don't know what you're talking about. It's perfectly average height for a male.
For an FSU basketball team, man. I'm used to our point guards being 6'6".
Yeah, that's right. 5'10's a great height for a person to be, though. Anybody else who's 5'10, not saying that I'm 5'10 or anything, but it's a great height for somebody to be.
Yeah, I mean this is just fun tape. This is like yeah, is it? Yeah, I just want to echo a lot of the sentiments. I do kind of agree that, man, you just don't see players like this use that effectively in Gus's system, and you'd love to see him kind of get in there a little bit more.
And maybe that's a tease where we could talk about at the end of the video what we want to see for Florida State's future, whether we have Gus in it or not. Physical too. It's not just running free the entire tape. He's physical. He's getting
shit.
Yeah.
He's gonna go make a football play for you. And he's not afraid to go do it.
And I think that's been one of my big problems with how Mike Norvell and staff have recruited is it feels like
that route's sick, dude.
When they get guys, they're getting guys that fit like certain measurables or certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not just been enough football players, not been enough guys that like, hey, it's 4th and 14, you get that pass over the middle, who's gonna catch it? Who's gonna be that guy? Who's the guy that's a football player? Who's the guy with ice in his veins?
I just like seeing a guy have a nice break out of his route and just run clean routes, dude. It's just
get open.
Nice to watch. Yeah, we don't. It's fun film for us to watch because it's so few and far between that we've got to see Florida State receivers execute it.
Yeah, even when you had receivers that you felt like could have been good route runners, they have not run good routes in years.
We've won a lot of our stuff on the outside due to physicality, which is awesome to watch too. But I love watching a good technician run a really crisp route and get separation that way. Separations, Florida State's become contested catch merchants. Like a lot of times, it's nice to watch like a guy who has the skill of separation. Sit down in that area of the field, make an easy catch, yak afterwards. Yeah, he gets it, dude. Tell you what, dude, you line up 4 wide with, like Lopez on one side and Boggs on the other. Like that could be pretty nasty on the second level to have to defend, right?
Yeah. He and McCoy are a lot of fun together.
Yeah, absolutely. He makes a great running mate for a lot of the really talented young receivers on Florida State's team.
Well, yeah, and then like if you can get someone like Deuce back, if you can get that outside threat, that safety has to stay over top. So you're really opening up the middle of the field. Like that's why you need one of each. You need a Deuce Robinson and you need a, Micah Pittman or whoever. In this case, Lopez, right?
Look at him go, dude. Running that play nicely. Yeah, great film.
Yeah.
Well,
on to the next one.
Back to the defense. I want to talk about. Let's talk about Ernest Rankins. He's the next highest rated recruit in Florida State's class. He's a 91 grade, 6'4", 265 defensive lineman from DeKalb, Southwest DeKalb High School in Decatur, Georgia.
DeKalb.
Is it DeKalb?
Yeah.
DeKalb? Okay. I'm not from Georgia.
Near my stomping grounds. So.
DeKalb. Anyway, Ernest Rankins. Let's take a look at him. 6'4", 265. Florida State's highest rated defensive lineman.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to jump around a few clips just because he doesn't have a.
And we also did a video on Rankins when he committed to Kev, so we can abbreviate this one. I guess if you guys want to see some like more of our detailed comments, we did do a video when he committed. So
he's fun, big body, athletic, big. Just he's raw, but he's a big athletic dude that you kind of need to start recruiting along the defensive line.
Yeah, he doesn't highlight who he is, so if you need to know, he's just the biggest guy on the field.
That guy, 54. That's awesome.
I mean, he's just up the field. I mean, there's not a lot of technique there. It is get off the ball and go.
So Mr. Roast, Terrence Knighton will be working with him to develop some technique, but
you would think so.
Yeah.
What stands out to you guys as far as for a raw like athletic player like this? What's the one? Does he have a trait that really makes himself stand out that he does that'll be really nice to build around?
Yeah, I think his length is really good, like his arm length and stuff. If I recall correctly,
I think you're right, dude. Like he looks different, which is nice. It's nice for a Florida State recruit to look different than his friends.
Yeah, I would say there's two things physically, his arm length, and I think he's not top heavy, which you'll sometimes see with these defensive linemen, where they're just kind of, you can see that they would need to sit in the squat rack for a couple years before there's someone that could be useful. So he's got a little bit of legs to him, which I think is something you're looking for. I will say, like, I think it's we're sitting here and I feel like I need to give caveats to all of these recruits, just because, there is a lot of development that needs to be made here. This is not someone I think that you're going to necessarily see a ton of as a freshman, although I think he's physically capable of hopping in there, and that might get him on the field.
If he doesn't win up the field right away, he seems to not know what to do, and that's something where they're going to have to work on. Like, he needs to learn what to do with his hands, how to play with leverage, how to shed blocks. Like, those are, I mean, not that he can't do those things at a basic level now, but he's going to learn the finer details of those things over the next couple of years. And you hope that the athleticism stays, the explosiveness, because he is an explosive athlete off the football. You just kind of got to marry all of that and make a complete defensive lineman.
Yeah, so like here's a, like, to me it's honestly a little concerning that each one of these games there's only like one clip that he includes, and this is the one he kind of loses to this guard here who gets up underneath him. He gets a little high. You see kind of the detriments. He gets doubled here and loses it, but he does fight back and he gets into the play. But
to me, the thing that stands out is use those arms, fella. Like you got a great genetic gift there. Like when he learns to extend and play and get their hands off of him, like that's some great clay to build with. But right now it's going to require a lot of development, which has not been something that Florida State has done particularly well over and over again so far the past couple of years.
Again, like here, that kid's just like, okay, you ran yourself off the field. Like he's got to use his hands, fight pressure.
Yep. Yeah, because it just opens up this gap, and he's athletic enough at this level to kind of still get back into the play. But yeah, so there's definitely some exciting clay here. Like I think he has the possibility of being a really good ball player, but yeah, there's going to be some work that needs to be done, and I think that he's totally capable of doing that work. And let's hope that this staff is kind of building and getting to a position where that's something that they can do and is worth their time.
I agree, but betting on body types, right? Betting on plus traits of body types, and I think that's going to segue really, really nicely into this next kid we're talking about. 6'6", 265, Greenville, South Carolina defensive lineman Franklin Whitley. He's the number 6 ranked player in the state of South Carolina. He's a 4-star, 91 ranked on 247sports.com. 6'6", 265 in high school. This is one where I have not seen the tape yet, but I'm excited to watch because physically, I'm sure he's going to look a little different than some of the guys he's playing with. 6'6", 265.
Yeah, he's a true, edge body at that height and size. The dude's just long.
Look at him compared to the other guys. Oh, he's moving a little bit.
He's a 5 tech, 3 tech type defensive lineman in the scheme. Probably they'll move him around, I would think. It's kind of the kind of body types they liked at Nebraska. We kind of expected them to want to bring in here.
Yeah, I think he's
run a lot of stunts with. I mean, you notice there's some athleticism in these defensive linemen.
He's getting off the ball pretty nicely. Yeah,
there's not like a big plugging guy. These are guys that they want to move about and let them play games.
Yeah, this dude's a space eater. You can just see like his length. Just hear him in. He is as a 4-eye. It almost looks like. Dude just swallows people up.
That was quick penetration on that last play.
Helps when you're not blocked.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know how they can't notice that guy in the blood. He's okay.
That was good. There. Good use of arms.
Yeah, you see the difference. Him and Rankins. He's using his hands. These guys are too high though. They're playing too tall.
It seems to be. You see that in most of these high school defensive line prospects,
because
right?
they're so much better and more athletic than all the guys they're going against, so they can just stand up, find ball, run around, and go get it.
I also think that's how FSU's pulling off these guys with elite measurables, is that they're not the ones that also have the elite technique to go along with it day one. Not that honestly, there have been some things that he's done that I think are really impressive, but he's not nearly as raw as Rankins was, in my opinion. But
no, I think Whitley was recruited some by like Bama and stuff, but Florida State was maybe the most aggressive to go out and try to get him.
I'd say so, and they got on him, and they were very serious about it. I mean, it shows now how many of these are committable. We'll see, but it shows offers from Clemson, South Carolina, Alabama, Auburn. I think your biggest like contender, like your biggest serious contender, was like a South Carolina. So I think that goes to show you with a lot of these recruits, right? Yeah. There are very few like no doubter kids, because a lot of the no doubter kids are getting the interest from like the Ohio States, the Bamas, the Oregons, things like that. And a lot of the kids that you did have that were no doubters in the class, minus like a Chauncey Kennan, they got picked off before signing day. Like a Jay Timmons got picked off from Ohio State, right? Sucks, but it is where it is. So maybe another reason for the high numerical like value, just the sheer number of kids, is you're trying to bet on numbers for kids that you're beating out, like you're beating out the West Virginias and the South Carolinas and the things of that nature. Some of them are productive but don't have the measurables. Some of them have the measurables but not the production and have some of the rawness, and that's just kind of where you are right now at Florida State as a recruiting program. That's just the type of level that you're recruiting at. So how do you go about that when you got to develop kids to be contributors? You take a bunch of them and you play the numbers game. It's something that they've been caught not doing over the years, and I think that's why you've seen the kind of roster depth issues that we've had. So they've tried to alleviate that with this class, which I respect. This last guy, more seasoned than the other two. This is Jalen Anderson. He's actually the number 1 ranked JUCO edge in the entire country. He is the national. He's a top 5. He's the 5th rated JUCO player in the entire country. He's from Pearl River Community College, 6'3", 241. He's an edge. He did get late interest from LSU in the process, and Florida State was able to fend them off and get his commitment. I'm interested to see, Adam, what his tape kind of looks like, because Florida State did not have any edge production this year. Florida State is going to need to go to the transfer portal for edge. Florida State is going to need every single dude who can play edge for them to contribute next year to get some semblance of pass rush from their defensive line. This guy's going to have to play next year.
Yeah,
right?
you would think so. I mean, you lose Darrell Jackson, not that this kid's an interior guy, but they lacked any actual pass rush.
Yep.
I mean,
Right.
at all this past year. So they need anybody that can get after the quarterback.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as much criticism as we wanted to give the linebackers and safeties and corners, at the end of the day, when you got to cover for 4 or 5 seconds, everybody's swimming in trouble. So, all right. So he's got a pick 6. How do you think that's gonna be first play on the tape?
Wait for
No, I like it.
Strip sack, so we know what to look for. Helps for me because I'm a moron.
Oh, that's
Thank you,
nice.
Jalen.
That's a nice bend here. He's able to get up under the arms of those.
Mhm.
Of that.
Yeah, you can't quite clear it. Again, some technique stuff there, I would imagine.
What's his measurables?
6'3", 241, according to his 24/7 sports profile.
So not elite length.
Oh, pass rush moves.
Move, yeah.
Yeah, I think, to me, I'm a little more excited about a take like this. He's honestly reminding me a little bit of that guy from
under. There's some bend.
He's reminding me a little bit of that guy from Georgia Tech that I liked. That
Kyle Kennard.
Yeah, Kennard. Yeah. He's probably a similar build. He's not going to like overwhelm you with size but he's quick. He's got good moves.
Well at the apex.
What do you mean by that? The ape? Explain that, Adam.
It's the top of his pass rush. So like when you're pass rushing, you're running a hoop. You imagine it like it's a hoop to the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So like at the top of that, like at the point where you need to bend to go to the quarterback.
Sure.
That's what the apex is.
So you can see the bend here, and this is why people talk about bend with a defensive end.
Yeah. So see how he can flex his ankles and lean into that offensive tackle. Not there. See how he can lean in and flex his ankles, and almost he's not quite 90. Like the elites can get almost 90 degrees, or almost parallel to the ground. But he's not far off.
Yeah, he's bendy. I like that a lot.
Quick.
I have not watched this tape yet.
I haven't watched him either. I actually am a fan of this. I wonder if they're going to play him at Jack. Stand him up.
Would you?
Yeah, I mean, if that's your pass rush spot, yeah. I mean, I'm going to play him wherever I can turn him loose after the quarterback.
Yeah, there's a little concern about overall size, 6'3", and length. He might get swallowed up by some more elite tackles, but at least he's got some juice against some, like you didn't have anybody get pressure against Pitt this season. So this is a guy that can get pressure against Pitt.
There, he's playing the run a little bit. Yeah, I would assume he's probably going to play Jack. I would like to know what his arm length is, if he can get into tackles and
Tell you what, he's a great highlight editor. He makes it very easy to break down his film.
Little Dutch angle here.
Yeah, it's very like a Diary of a Wimpy Kid with the designs.
Watch this. We got watched a little bit there, but got through. You can see he's just kind of sneaky, you know? He just kind of gets in there. It's hard to describe.
Mm-hmm.
He's bendy. I like it. I like this tape. I think this is a good take. This guy looks like a football player.
This is the type of dude you need to make an impact for you early, right? Like there's very few guys with legit pass rush juice on Florida State's roster right now, and you got to utilize what you got. Yeah, I agree. This is good looking film.
Was I speaking out my butt? Was how big is Kyle Kennard?
I think
He's 6'4", 250.
Okay,
So he's probably an inch on.
But I'd say you could see why, like, just maybe not quite as a bend as the elite elites, maybe not quite as like the arm length as the true like 5-star dude, but like this is a good football player. This is a good football player that has an ability to get to the passer.
Yeah,
So
there'll be a question to if the elite length of some of the better tackles in the league are going to shut him down. But I you like the bend, you like the athleticism.
Yeah, and I think like all these guys, like how we talked about, it's a lot of guys they threw in the class. There are some guys that we're excited about. There are some guys that not really sure of the impact they're going to have either in the short term or the long term at Florida State. But I can tell you, all the dudes that we looked at today, those are good looking prospects. Those are good looking players. They need to be, some need more development than others, but I like that. Like there's some things that you can do there. Now moving on to the future, Adam. You take these guys, this class of 32 high school prospects, you think about all of the guys that are leaving Florida State's roster, and we're not exactly sure yet. Some guys got to make some tough decisions on whether they go pro, whether they go in the portal, whether they get retained by Florida State. But transfer portal season is almost upon us. Early January is almost here.
Yep.
We're already in coaching transition season. I'll ask you first, and I'll pose the same question to Kevin. What are some things that you're looking at for Florida State to target as far as like players in the transfer portal and maybe the type of coaches that they're looking to bring in to fill some of these vacancies? I know that's a loaded question.
Well, it's loaded in the sense that like you're coming off of 2 bad seasons and you've got a lame duck head coach. And so as far as like what coaches are going to come here, I don't know. They just got Nick Williams from Syracuse via Colorado, via Texas A&M. So he seems like a bit of a guy that kind of makes his way around the coaching world a little bit, kind of known as a recruiter. We'll see how that turns out. He's going to coach edges here at Florida State. They need to hire a corners coach. I'm to the point now, like especially if you're going to commit to this front office approach and going out and getting a true GM that is maybe going to head up your player acquisition a little bit more. Like I'm almost to the point now where I just get me a corners coach that can develop corners and get these young guys. Like somebody needs to come in here that's going to get Chauncey Kennan to play good football.
Yeah.
From day one. That really is kind of where my head's at for all these spots at this point.
You want developers across the board?
Yeah, I think so. Now, like let's figure out how to get these all-field guys to really handle recruiting, and let's just let these coaches coach, because Mike Norvell's proven that he can't find coaches that know how to recruit. So
keep that kind of separation.
Or he hasn't valued it well enough yet to make sure it is a point of emphasis. So yeah, I'm good with let these off-field guys handle it and just let this football staff do football, because they need to at some point get that right. And then players, like, just get me a quarterback. Just go get a quarterback, like a guy that can legitimately drop back and throw the football and read it and see over the line of scrimmage.
And
please, God.
There's enough of them in the portal. Like I said, there are the money positions. There's a ton of competition. Every team needs tackles. Every team needs edges. Every team needs quarterbacks, but there's a lot more productive quarterbacks in the portal than there are those other positions that we listed. You can't whiff. You can't whiff on quarterback. You can't. You can't even hit like a single on quarterback. You gotta, if you really want to write this thing, you got to knock that one out of the park. Kev, I think, do you agree on that as far as like the type of quarterback should be the number one priority? And there's a lot of people saying, hey, you'll have Jaden O'Neal, a guy that we didn't talk about, the quarterback they're bringing in. You got Kev. A lot of people are clamoring for Kevin Sperry next year. What do you think of Florida State's quarterback situation, and should they be targeting one heavily in the portal, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a given at this point that you need a quarterback. My inclination is to go find one of these guys that has won a bunch of games at the G5 level, that's put up a bunch of numbers at the G5 level. Maybe he doesn't have all the measurables. Maybe he doesn't have an arm that can throw 70 yards. Go find yourself like a Morris like Virginia had this year. Go find yourself someone that just has that factor, has that it factor, is going to put the game on his back when things are breaking down. And yeah, that's going to be my inclination is, maybe he's not 6'4", don't get a Carson Beck, don't get a DJ Uiagalelei. Go get someone who, might be missing something, but has won. Mm-hmm. Find someone who's won. Find someone who has been the reason why winning has happened, maybe at a slightly lower level, and someone that that can be a leader of a winning football team. Because I feel like since Jordan Travis has left, you haven't had someone in the quarterback room that knows how to win a football game.
That's a great point, because right now the culture from the coaches, like you can see it in the demeanor and the play on the field. Florida State continues to make the losing plays in the worst situations possible. If you could have like a cultural influence at quarterback that could somehow get these guys to calm down and play as good as we know they are, I think that would actually be something I would take into my player evaluation. Kev, you want like a field general, a guy who can see the field, who, God forbid, can maybe make multiple reads and some anticipatory, like throwing people open type stuff, even if he's not a physical specimen. That's what you're calling for?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't care if he's a pocket passer. I don't care if he's a scrambling quarterback. I don't care how mobile or not mobile he is. I think you need a winner, and I think you need someone who can set a standard, and I think you need to find someone who has found success in previous places and has elevated a team above what they would be normally.
Adam, would your preference be, I guess you could talk about what your preference would be and what you think's actually going to happen with the coordinators. Stay or go for both of them. What do you prefer, and what do you think's actually going to happen? It seems a little messy, dude. I don't even know where it stands right now as we're talking on December 8th. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty outspoken. I was good with the Gus hire because I thought he brought you a floor. But I think, I mean, if they're going to keep Mike around, which they obviously are, I think now we need to transition past the floor. Like, okay, maybe you reestablished your floor with 5 wins. Disgusting to say out loud. Maybe you reestablish that floor, and now you can take the next step into getting back up into your ceiling, and going and getting an offense coordinator that, I don't know, that can throw the ball consistently, or, design a passing attack that can throw the ball, because you need to throw the football, like, and you need to be able to do it consistently, and you need to be able to develop quarterbacks that can do that, and wide receivers, and kind of marry all those things. So, yeah, I mean, I think that Gus served his purpose. Let's maybe transition now to a little more 2025, 2026 friendly offense. Not that I don't love what I saw this year from at times. They gained a shitload of yards, but they just couldn't score any points. And then, like with Tony White, I guess, like, yeah, let's just see what happens. Let's run that back again. I mean,
you would be open to that.
Yeah, I would. He's got a good track record. I heard some discouraging things, like maybe spends a lot of time on the phone in practice. I did hear that from a couple people that had attended practice. But you never know what's going on. I mean, that can be misleading. So
sure,
I wouldn't mind running that back. If anything, it seems like maybe he and Mike butted heads, and I'm good with anybody that's butting heads with Mike right now.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I think, man, just the Collender-like nature of the run defense at the end of the year, I still can't get it. That Florida game left a bad taste in my mouth. But it will be interesting. Kev, what do you kind of echo on the coordinator sentiment?
Yeah, I think I'm less down on Gus as most other people. I mean, to be honest with you, I think we forget how terrible that offense was 2 years ago. And I think he did a good job of turning that offense around and making them at least a competent unit. They had a weird, they were a weird unit, consistently putting up yards, not converting those into points, making turnovers at the worst time. And so what do you do with that? Is that fully on the coordinator? Is that whatever? I think the modern game is moving more and more towards offensive systems that are very multiple, that can kind of attack defenses in different ways depending on what they feel like the defense's weaknesses are. And Gus is not that. Gus's offense is very much, we're going to do what we're going to do, and we're going to challenge you to stop it. And what teams were able to do is essentially say, well, we're just going to let you get yards and buckle down in the red zone because we don't think you can score. We're going to take away the run in the red zone. We're going to load the box in the red zone and force you to throw jump balls to Deuce Robinson to score touchdowns. And they just couldn't do it consistently. So I think that is a little bit on Gus. I think that is a little bit on the makeup of the team. But I think that the modern era is moving towards a team that can adapt and change and have a different look in the red zone as they do everywhere else, have a different look against one team as they do against the next. And I don't think that's where Gus is right now. But I would not be upset to see him be the offensive coordinator again next year. I think that there is more juice to squeeze out of this offense with the right personnel. Will they be elite? I don't think so. But I do think there were signs that the offense was working and could be better next year. As for the defense, I think that you had the wrong personnel. I think you made a bad decision in retrospect. You went from a defense that was a 4-2-5 cover 4 match quarters kind of,
aggressive, long cornerback team,
to this, 3-3-5. That's kind of overplayed. I think they did a lot of even front stuff, but this kind of 3 safety look that plays a lot of zone. I think you just didn't have the personnel to put that defense in place. And even as the season went on, I think the defense looked a little bit better. And so I think there's still hope there for the defense. But yeah, what's hard about it is that, is this roster going to be significantly better? You've got to go,
we talked about how many starters on these other episodes. Like, you're looking at double digit starter level dudes you need to get from the portal, and you need to do it all in January. That's the thing too, where it's like, you're talking about the coaches. They're losing so much production, and so much of the production that they even brought in last year wasn't worth a crap. It's like, you're looking at double digit guys that you need to get out of the portal that need to be starters for you.
So I think a lot of people are saying, well, your team's not going to be significantly more talented. So if you don't change the coordinators, your team's not going to be any better. Like, you need to upgrade somewhere, right?
Yeah, or at least, I don't know. You need to figure out somebody that has a better idea of what to do with the cast of players that will be given to him by Mike Norvell and whatever this front office looks like. Guys, before we go, if there are changes on the coordinator front, which as of December 8th, the night of Monday, December 8th, has not happened yet, are there any attainable names that you think would be good fits at Florida State that you would be comfortable kind of putting out there? Not that we know of anything, but just attainable names that would be something that would get any names that would get you personally excited that are attainable?
I mean, to me,
Adam, not one, Adam.
I mean,
come on.
Attainable is a big word, right?
Like, slightly attainable. if we can overpay. I don't know. I'm just saying there's got to be a name out there where it's like,
I mean, Brendan's reported that there's at least been some like sniffing around Cade Bell. Like that makes sense. He could bring his quarterback with him potentially. Like understands like modern passing attack. Like I think that makes sense, but he's a Florida grad. He's young. Like why the hell would he come here?
Because
I'm sorry. I mean,
he likes the triple option. He likes the X and Noles.
Yeah, he likes Kev. Like Kev solved his problems for him. I mean, shout out to Kev legitimately, but yeah, I don't know. Like if I was giving advice, okay, like if I'm older now, like if a younger coach came to me and said, "Hey, thinking about taking that Florida State job, they're offering me 3 years and a decent salary," like why the hell would anybody with their right mind tell them yes right now?
Yeah, I mean, it looks
Florida
like
State's awesome. That's why if you're watching this, Cade Bell, you should take the job.
It looks like Tony White might be torpedoing his career having come here. Like his career was upwardly mobile, and now people are talking about wanting to fire
Norvell
him.
just seems like a losing bet, and maybe
Yeah,
that's going to prove to be very incorrect. But right now, this place is a freaking cluster.
Good
Sorry
point.
to be so bleak.
No, it's okay. You're being, and that's the difficulty they are going to face. Where you do have the prestige of Florida State University, you do have a like blue blood level program when it's operating at peak efficiency, but that's a challenge they're going to face on the open market with getting these coaching hires, man. Like they want to have stability in the head coach, and I don't care how many statements that are put out there. There's definitely not that aura of stability around Mike Norvell. Kevin, he names it possibly would get you kind of excited.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a bunch of names that would get you excited. I think
that are attainable.
I think there's a lot of good offensive coordinators out there. I think that you'd have to get creative. I think you'd have to, go pluck someone from. I think North Texas was doing a good job. So what is their offensive coordinator doing? I think there's several programs around the country that you can point to in a similar position that were kind of innovative, getting some stuff done. Maybe you can find yourself that's a veer and shoot kind of guy that's willing to put in that kind of offense, which I think can find success with the kind of wide receiver athletes you can get in the state of Florida. So maybe you can do something like that. I think what's most attractive is maybe finding an offensive coordinator quarterback combination like Oklahoma did and just shipping them in and hoping they can kind of revitalize a struggling offense and
have the BOGO. Yeah.
I think that might be the answer, but yeah, I think that's why I'm not as down about Gus, because I look around the country and who are you going to bring in? Like a lot of the best offenses are offense in the country right now are offenses where the head coach is an offensive guy. So are you going to poach one of those offensive coordinators? Like what's the plan here? And is it an obvious improvement?
If I'm poaching anybody, I'm going up to Indiana and finding somebody in that staff, because they look like they can coach some freaking football.
You want to talk about some winners, dude? Them Hoosiers be winning, guys. Well, you're always winning. Watching X's and Noles presented by Noles247.com. We went through the high school recruiting class, our guys that we want to keep an eye on. We talked about the future of the football program as a whole. There's a lot of those decisions that are being made right now in the months and weeks ahead. And the only way you're going to find out about what they are, how Florida State's shaping up for 2026 and beyond, there's a lot of stuff that's going to have far-reaching implications. Noles247.com is the place to go. Subscribe. Give it to your friends for a Christmas present. Give it to yourself for a Christmas present if you're not a subscriber. Beautiful website, wonderful conversation, and the best info on the FSU beat. We love you guys. We'll see you for another video soon. Keep chopping over the holidays.
I'll be more positive next time.